Good morning from Buncara in County Donegal. I stayed in this bed and breakfast last night. I say bed and breakfast, I'm about to go hunt down breakfast now at the end of the pier. There's no breakfast in it, but it's an Airbnb. Anyway, my host tells me that body of water down there is an inlet, and if you follow it you come to a pier, and at the end of that pier, which is a couple of 100 metres away, there is a ferry, and that ferry takes you across the loch and saves you having to do about 30 miles south to Letterkenny to come 30 miles north to Portsalon on the other side of the peninsula. So I've hatched a plan, and I'm going to cut out Letterkenny, and I'm going to turn this into a rest day because I don't actually have any scheduled in, and I think it's probably going to be worth my while having an easy day, enjoying my surroundings and just being rather than wanting to be somewhere. So, time to go catch breakfast. This is the ferry, and the fellows on board tell me that because of the COVID, it's not running until Friday. That's a 60-mile bike ride. I'm just going to have to go now. Let's get on with it. I'm on a gravel track, heading out through a nature reserve, going south, fortunately with the wind on my back at the moment. And you can see this loch and the nature reserve below. I was trying to figure out what's the purpose of this track. Why is it pan flat, straight and empty? And it's clearly a levee, probably about 2 or 3 meters high, to reclaim this land from the sea. So ironically, what they call a nature reserve is in fact an area to the side of a levee that has destroyed a wetland that would have been a superb nature reserve. This sign here marks Eurovelo 1. Look up Eurovelo on the internet. It's a network of cycle trails crisscrossing Europe. I'm on the Atlantic Trail, which is about 6,000 miles long if you start at the top of Scandinavia and work your way down to Portugal. And I think this sign is going to be keeping me company for about the next 1,000 miles. When people ask what does it take to do a ride like this, I say a lot of pluck. Hello Letterkenny. I've made good progress this morning, I think partly assisted by a tailwind and just feeling as though I had to get my head down and get it done. Now that's what I call a pot of tea. Welcome to the town of Ramilton, which is really more just a lochside village. There's not much to report really. The cycling's pleasant enough on the quiet empty country lanes, but the landscape's pretty monotonous because it's just intensive agriculture, so wherever you pedal it pretty much looks the same. In the far distance across the loch over there is Buncara. I set off from there at 10 o'clock this morning. It's now 3:30 in the afternoon. 45 miles and a couple of thousand feet of climb later, I'm finally in Rathmullen, which is where apparently the ferry would have got me in about half an hour across Loch Swilly. And it's a pretty little town with a beach and a pier, and it's about 15 miles from my destination. Nay mind. That moment when you cycle around a corner and say to yourself, wow. And that's what I came for, to be wowed. Thank you, Island, you're delivering. Down there, in the centre of this image, is a cave, which must be great fun to investigate in a kayak, but it's not happening today on a bicycle. Hypnotic, isn't it?